In the mid-20th century, nestled among colorful advertisements in the back of American comic books, next to sea monkeys and X-ray glasses was something far more bizarre and troubling: live monkeys for sale. For the price of a few dollars and a coupon clipped from the back of a comic, kids could send away for a real living primate delivered straight to their doorstep. It sounds like an urban legend, but it was undeniably true. Hi, this is Colin from the History Pilgrim. Today we are entering the strange but true world of mail-order monkeys. This phenomenon came about during the late 1950s, when America was deep in the post-war consumer boom, and the backs of these comics were full of too-good-to-be-true offers. Tiny submarines, magic gadgets, and astonishing pets. An advertisement began to appear offering actual squirrel monkeys for as little as $13.95, postage included. To a child with a few weeks of allowance saved, what could be more exciting than having your very own monkey sidekick? The reality was a nightmare. They often arrived in the US distressed, and in many cases highly aggressive. The monkeys were impossible to feed correctly in an era before internet, extremely prone to outbursts, and almost always died very soon after arriving. Because the monkeys were subjected to long, dark journeys without food, the monkeys did what any wild animals would do upon arrival. They shrieked, leapt, and often bit. Some monkeys immediately tried to escape by climbing up curtains or scrambling under furniture. Parents found themselves in an odd situation caring for an exotic, undomesticated animal. In many cases, the monkeys were kept in a bird cage, a laundry basket, or even tied to furniture with a leash. Children tried to mimic what they'd seen in cartoons by dressing monkeys up in costumes or trying to teach them tricks. The monkeys responded with confusion, which often escalated to outright aggression. Within hours, the monkeys would often begin biting, screeching, and throwing feces, which is a common sign in their species of distress. In other cases, the monkeys escaped and died quickly outside. Parents, realizing that they could not take care of them, gave the monkeys away or had them euthanized, often within weeks of the monkeys arriving. Beyond the behavioral and emotional fallout, squirrel monkeys, like all primates, are potential carriers of diseases such as herpes, tuberculosis, and hepatitis. Children interacting with these monkeys were often at risk of contracting these diseases. The monkeys had teeth, territorial interests, and absolutely no interest in becoming a child's plaything. The companies which sold them were purely interested in making money, and therefore never disclosed that monkeys are social animals that need to be around other monkeys, are prone to aggression when stressed out, and are nearly impossible to potty train. More than a few families quickly discovered the hard way that monkeys could throw household objects with remarkable aim, scream at jet engine volume, and chew through electrical cords and furniture. Stories from this peculiar era range from sad to downright strange. Some strange cases of banana-flavored bedlam include one family in an Ohio household discovering that their mail-order monkey had climbed into the attic, built itself a nest out of insulation and pantyhose, and refused to come down for 3 weeks. It screamed whenever the radio was turned on. Another instance involved a department store in Chicago, which featured a promotion involving mail-order monkeys dressed in full costume. The monkeys, dressed in trousers and bonnets, revolted by flinging said outfits and other items at the crowds. In December of 1968, a man in Minneapolis ordered a squirrel monkey as a Christmas gift for his 10-year-old son, after seeing an advertisement in the back of Popular Mechanics promising a friendly, intelligent, house-trainable monkey. It arrived as promised in a wooden crate with holes poked into the sides, and a little mesh window where 2 frantic yellow eyes stared out. The family named him Mr. Bananas. The trouble started within an hour. Mr. Bananas chewed through the twine holding the cage shut, leapt under the decorated Christmas tree, and began flinging ornaments. When the father tried to get him down, Mr. Bananas responded by biting his thumb, then defecating into a half-wrapped gift. It got worse. By Christmas Eve, Mr. Bananas had torn open every single wrapped present, pulled down the curtains, shoved an entire candy cane up in the air vent, and terrorized the cat so severely it moved to the neighbor's garage. On Christmas Day during dinner, Mr. Bananas leapt from the chandelier and landed in the gravy boat. They called animal control the next morning. The family kept the chewed cage in their garage for years as a kind of warning. In 1971, a boy in Ohio saved his allowance for 8 months and finally mailed for a monkey from the back of a comic book. The monkey named Zippy arrived at the local post office, panting and aggressive. The postal clerk tried to hold the box gently, but Zippy was clawing at the mesh, with enough force to draw blood from the cardboard. Within a day of coming home, Zippy had ripped every shirt off the clothesline, pooped inside the fish tank, and learned how to open the refrigerator and removed every egg. When the boy brought Zippy to school for show and tell, the monkey escaped, ran down the hall screeching, and bit the assistant principal. The school nurse locked herself in the supply closet, and 2 firemen had to be called to safely catch the monkey in the art room. The incident made the front page of the Toledo newspaper under the headline, "Show in Hell, Monkey Causes School Mayhem." Zippy was sent to a wildlife rescue shortly after. The boy kept the newspaper clipping framed in his room until college. Behind every screeching disaster in a suburban living room, or monkey-induced mayhem in a classroom, a deeper truth began to emerge. Animal rights activists, veterinarians, and concerned citizens began to realize that this trade was not just strange, it was fundamentally cruel. And slowly, through documentation, education, and relentless advocacy, they helped bring the mail-order monkey industry to an end. In one particularly influential campaign, Dr. Jane Goodall, who was conducting groundbreaking work with chimpanzees in Africa, helped educate the public about the deep emotional lives of primates. Though her work focused on wild apes, it cast a long shadow over the idea that any primate could be treated like a house pet. With increased public awareness, there was pressure on the US government to intervene. In the early 1970s, the US began expanding federal laws to regulate the exotic animal trade. The most significant step was the strengthening of the Animal Welfare Act, originally passed in 1966. The act began requiring licensing for animal dealers, standards for transportation, and basic care for animals sold in commerce, including those shipped for private ownership. By the late 1970s, stricter enforcement of these regulations, coupled with mounting negative press, made it increasingly difficult and legally dangerous for companies to ship primates through the mail. Eventually, the U.S. Postal Service banned the shipment of live primates through the mail. Exotic animal vendors faced a shrinking legal landscape, and by the 1980s, the era of mail-order monkeys had effectively ended. The strange chapter of mail-order monkeys is a reminder of just how far people will go to own the exotic, the unusual, or the outright unmanageable. What started as a quirky novelty advertised in the back of comic books often turned into a chaotic reality, one that neither the monkeys nor their new owners were prepared for. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to stay tuned for more history videos. Sincerely, the History Pilgrim.